Ugh, the sick day struggle is real. But with Dimetapp, it doesn't have to be. Children's Dimetapp works quickly to soothe multiple bothersome cough, cold, and allergy symptoms in a single dose. Our fast-acting formulas are designed with kids in mind, so they get everything they need and nothing they don't. Available in liquid and on-the-go chewable tablets. Tap the banner now to shop at Amazon and say goodbye to the sick day struggle with Dimetapp. Use as directed.
Support comes from ServiceNow. We're for people doing the creative work they actually want to do. That's why this ad was written and read by a real person and not AI. You know what people don't want to do? Boring, busy work. Now with AI agents built into the ServiceNow platform, you can automate millions of repetitive tasks in every corner of your business, IT, HR, and more, so your people can focus on the work that they want to do. That's putting AI agents to work for people. It's your turn. Visit servicenow.com.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of But Am I Wrong? Starring two people who have not once ever been wrong. And one of them is wearing a really cute sweatshirt.
Yeah. Is it available still? Who knows? Yeah, we're within the last days. I gave you a week from the episode that came out today as we're recording. So they've got a couple more days. It's done.
No, I know,
you just got to make some adjustments, but then it's done.
Okay.
So if you would like this, you've got, today is Monday, you've got till Thursday, and then it's gone.
And get excited. It's a new season approaching.
The new season is already in here.
Yeah, but Los Angeles is so deeply weather confused, I have to assume the rest of the country is following suit.
Usually people don't really get in. Well, spring break's already happening. So yeah, they've already experienced it.
You know how I feel about the seasons. Unless the weather changes, it's too frustrating for me.
Well, it did change for a day. It was like 200 degrees and then it went back down to 40.
That was summer. It skipped spring. It's dry. We have no rain. Therefore, where's the April showers bringing May flowers?
We're getting rain tonight.
Allegedly.
Look, it's cloudy. It feels wet. We're getting rain tonight.
Yeah, but I hate that weather where it is just like gray and it feels damp outside.
Yeah. And that's what I just said. It was cloudy and it's wet.
Yeah, it feels like the inside of a laundry machine. Washing machine.
Okay. Well, Megan, what is this show?
This is a show where we, Meghan and Melisa, two people who have not once ever been wrong, we share that skill and that talent with you, our audience. We have 3 different segments on the show. We will explain each one of them before we get into this respective one, so you don't have to be overwhelmed with the information. But what you really just need to know is we love when you participate. There are multiple ways to participate, but the key one is voting on who you think was wrong in everything we talk about in this episode. And that is what we do over on our Instagram. So we post it on our stories and it's also in a highlight. And you vote the little poll. Who was wrong? Who wasn't wrong? And then write in with why you voted the way you did, your thoughts, your feelings, anything about that specific call, write in person, whoever we talked about. And it can also be like a fun fact. Like we talked about Clayton Eckerd and his lack of bullying and his lack of lower body proportions. And I did call him a hoagie with a P on top as a body type. And we had someone write in saying, hey, this man is constantly on my hinge, like all the time. That had very little to do with the topic at hand, but it was important information that I loved knowing.
I think it had a lot to do because during your discussion, you talked about his dancing. You're right. And they sent a video of him dancing on his Hinge profile.
Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is, like, my guy, if you are already on The Bachelor, you've done that, you have that ABC connection, and you can't get on Dancing with the Stars?
On Dancing with the Stars.
Hang up those shoes. Hang them up. And what shoes are they? His gym shoes.
You don't want people just to dance.
No, I don't.
I do.
Not him.
I want anybody to dance.
I don't want him to. Actually, I like laughing.
But I just don't show me.
Or show me, and then don't get mad when I go hee hee ha ha. Tee tee. And also, stop everybody. This is a note, and it also applies to me because I know my body type. There's a reason why the best dancing video I've ever posted is me in my beekeeping suit. Stop dancing in skinny jeans. Stop dancing in.
If you can't fill it out.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like it. Well, actually, you know me. I am actually like morally, religiously, and ethically opposed to skinny jeans as a whole on men. Like I really, it's.
I thought you meant on women too, because you were talking about you and your bee costume.
No. But I'm saying like you're like wondering what's missing from your dance move. It's baggy pants. You need something to throw back. And if you're Melissa, you're genetically gifted. If you're me, throw a bee suit on. Anyways,
you know. Before you got your bee suit, and this was years ago when you were actively trying to twerk, and I said, get you some baggy pants and it'll work, and you never did it.
I ended up on there's this girl who does nails on TikTok, and she also is like a professional dancer, and she like has a dance account that I like clicked on because she did dance for Shakira at the Grammys, and so she like Shakira. She tagged it. And she was wearing these sweatpants, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, which ones are these? Where are they from? Where are they from?" And everybody's like, "Oh, as a dancer, like these are the ones that we wear." And so I'm like, "Okay, I gotta get those."
Okay, all right. Should we get into our first segment?
We should.
Our first segment is called "But Am I Wrong?" That's when we pick something from our own personal lives that we might have been wrong about. We also sometimes just go on rants or just talk about whatever is on our heart, our minds, our soul, and present it. And then you guys get to vote on if we were wrong or not in the situation. And I'm first up this week. And so friends, listeners, enemies, fellow inhabitants of this pale blue dot that is floating in space.
Oh God, we have the same one.
Okay. We might have different takes on it though, but same one. For centuries, space has captivated our imaginations. It's a realm of mystery and boundless potential. But recently, a new narrative has emerged: space tourism. And I'd like to say, and we've talked about this before when like the billionaires were doing their great space race to see who was going to get up there first. But it's just annoying me even more now. And today, I would like to say, if the majority of people believe that while you're having sex, just the tip still make you a virgin, then just the tip of going into space does not make you an astronaut.
Just the stratosphere. Just breaching.
We see all these headlines of celebrities on these very expensive joyrides into the atmosphere, and we're told it's progress and inspiring. But inspiring to who? To do what? To become a millionaire and spend money to go to space? And is it even space? Again, it's just the tip, and they're not even going up there long enough to get Postmates delivered. They could order something on DoorDash, go up, come back, that meal still isn't there.
I've taken shits longer. Like,
I know you have. You told me.
No, sorry. Mostly
pisses longer.
I didn't mean shits. I was going to say men have taken shits longer. I've taken pisses longer.
And today I'd like to argue that this industry, quote unquote, is not only frivolous and a distraction, but a fundamental bad investment of time, resources, and attention. The recent Blue Origin flight, lauded as a celebration of women in aeronautics, perfectly encapsulates the problem. An all-female crew. Again, these words that are being used, crew, as in people that were just on this vessel, does that make me part of the flight crew when I fly on a plane?
Yeah, does that make you responsible and culpable for a Boeing lawsuit?
Right. So this all-female crew that had prominent people like Gayle King and Katy Perry, they took this 8 to 12-minute little jaunt into suborbital space. And the optics were very carefully curated and supposed to be this message of female empowerment soaring to the heavens. But let's peel back that glossy veneer and examine the reality. This wasn't a scientific expedition. It was also being called a mission. Like, what was the mission? What were they doing? They were going up there, floated for a quick second, and came back.
Katie had to reveal her track list. That was her mission.
What mission were they on? They weren't pushing any boundaries of human knowledge. It wasn't about addressing any critical issues facing our planet. It was, in essence, a very expensive publicity stunt, a billionaire's plaything providing a fleeting moment of weightlessness and a life-changing, as they said, view for a select few. And the backlash was immediate and I think justified. Even before they even put on their little outfits they got from Amazon. And I mean that literally because it is Amazon. Therefore, they did get these outfits from Amazon. There were plenty of people that were pointing out, including us, when we learned that Gail was going. We're like, you don't have to go. And when you have me agreeing with Olivia Munn on something, we have issues. Olivia Munn said that it felt gluttonous, and in a world grappling with climate change, poverty, and inequality, the sheer cost of these ventures is staggering. They don't let you know the exact price of this Blue Origin ticket. There's a lot of secrecy around it. Some people are saying it's $150,000 deposit just to reserve a seat. Reports suggest individual tickets likely cost millions of dollars, millions spent on a joyride that lasts less than the average commute. And also there's environmental costs. Rockets launch, no matter how brief, produce a significant amount of pollutants. And there's irony in this because, like Katy Perry, a moment after returning from this little jaunt, was talking about protecting Mother Earth, the very Earth whose atmosphere they just contributed to degrading for a fleeting personal experience. And also, like, when you buy things off Amazon, they're like, would you like this to come like a day later to cut down on emissions? And it's like, you're literally launching things into space for no reason, just for fun. One social media person that I saw noted that Katy Perry's single space trip likely burned more emissions than Taylor Swift's entire Eras tour. So let's put that in perspective. The argument that space tourism will eventually become more affordable if enough people show interest is a weak justification for its current extravagance. We have pressing needs on Earth that demand immediate and substantial financial investment. Imagine what the impact of these millions of dollars could do if they were directed towards climate change, poverty, healthcare. Instead, they are being used to fund the ultimate luxury experience for the ultra wealthy. Furthermore, the narrative surrounding these flights often feel disingenuous. The quote unquote for all womankind interview featuring the Blue Origin crew highlighted the racial diversity of the passengers, with Katy Perry stating her desire to show her daughter that any type of person can reach their dreams. Yuck. What does that mean? Any type of person? Because it was a diverse group of women? This sentiment rings hollow when the company behind the flight, Amazon, has faced criticism for rolling back its DEI programs when its founder, Daddy Bezos, has expressed optimism about a political figure whose policies many see as detrimental to marginalized communities. The emphasis also on glam of this flight. I mean, no one's wearing any type of helmets.
So you know it was really serious.
Right. Like, Katy Perry also said she was putting the ass in astronaut. It trivializes the work of actual scientists and engineers who dedicate their lives to space exploration. Also reinforces superficial images that undermines the true challenges and importance of space research. And I'm not saying bitches can't look cute. You can look cute, but that can't be the only reason why you're going up in space.
Look cute with 2 feet on the fucking ground.
Yeah.
Quinta won't even get on a cruise ship, and you're hopping in space to look cute. She looks great right here on Earth. 2 feet firmly planted on the ground.
On Earth. Even Emily Ratajkowski said that this flight was wasteful and performative, and it also feels like a dystopian oligarchy because all the passengers did really was experience a few minutes of weightlessness when they could have done that here. There, you can go to any one of these like space places, or even where you can do indoor skydiving, and you can have that same weightless feeling. You do not have to go and just put your little tip into the atmosphere. And then they were also saying we use space technology all the time through GPS and satellites. Okay. And that's helping me get from point A to point B. What was this doing? Instead of celebrating these escapades, we should be questioning the priorities they represent. We should be asking why the vast sums of money and resources are being poured into a pursuit that benefits so few, while so many on Earth are in dire need. We should be wary of the performative activism that uses these flights as a backdrop for hollow pronouncements about inspiration and progress. The true inspiration lies not in watching celebrities float in zero gravity for a few minutes, but in the tireless work of scientists, engineers, and activists who are striving to solve the very real problems facing our Earth. The true progress lies in investing in sustainable solutions, addressing inequality, and ensuring a livable future for all. Thank you.
Wow. That was beautiful, incredibly eloquent, incredibly just like dissertation level. And I'm about to come at you with something just as equally thought out, as equally researched, and truly just as beautiful of prose.
Love it. So we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into Meghan's.
There are many ways to entice a potential new customer with flashy branding and calculated marketing strategies. But at the end of the day, the success of a business comes down to the ability to close the sale. And for businesses like Thrive Cosmetics, Allbirds, or Skims, it's what goes on behind the scenes, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple, that makes the difference. For them and for millions of businesses, that difference is made with Shopify. Businesses that want to grow, grow with Shopify. Because if your goal is growth, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And Shopify will make sure you're ready. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And with Shop Pay, they boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. It's no wonder Shopify is home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/realm.
At Sephora, we've got what you want because you're obsessed with your skin and we're obsessed with what it needs. Sephora has the best products to help you get beautiful, glowing, radiant skin. With an extensive, inclusive range of results-driven formulas and in-store beauty advisors to help you find exactly which are right for you, the best skincare is only at Sephora. Sephora, for all your skincare.
And we're back with Canva Presents Secret Sounds Work Edition. Caller, guess this sound.
It's a mouse click.
So close. That's actually publishing a website with Canva Docs. Next caller.
Definitely a mouse click.
Nice try. It was sorting 100 sticky notes with a Canva whiteboard. We also would have accepted resizing a Canva video into 10 different sizes.
What? No way.
Yes way. One click can go a long way. Love your work at canva.com.
And I know you've been gearing up. I know you've been so excited to hear what soliloquy I'm going to spit on this topic now that Melissa has set us up so perfectly. And that is, going to space is embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
This is fundamentally embarrassing. It is similar to me playing in the Super Bowl, losing the Super Bowl, and also kind of winning the Super Bowl. It's a little embarrassing. Losing the Super Bowl is very embarrassing. Going to space. Okay. No. This whole thing to me is just mortifying. Like, everyone talks about, oh my God, I don't want to be perceived. I don't want to be perceived. You know where I don't want to perceive people? In space. As someone who loves being perceived, I don't want to be perceived in space. And I think that maybe one of these things needs to come down, because you know what's not happening as often? The submersible. We're not having that, because guess what happened? Oh, highly publicized of these people all died. And then we're going to have scientists, real scientists, not people with Amazon Prime fucking little snowsuits, who come on here and then explain what happens to your body and how graphically you disintegrate and all of this stuff. And you know what we don't see right now? We're not seeing as many submersibles. We're not seeing people going, hey, I wonder how Mariana's Trench is doing. Let me go see firsthand. We're not doing that. I think we did see, what did we see that someone's, we got more satellite footage of the Titanic recently.
Mm-hmm.
And like sending cameras. Whatever happened to Sputnik? Whatever happened to a nice little, a rover, a Mars rover? Name one Clifford. Name it after any famous dog you would like. But I think my hot take is it's embarrassing, and in order for it to be stopped, I think one needs to crash land in the water or get stuck forever in space orbiting.
Or here's the third option, and this is only for conspiracy theorists. And I don't actually believe it, but it's just right here. Now that Meghan has said it, it's very low-hanging fruit. And so I just got to make a little funny.
Okay. I know where we're going.
Or the tape skips while they're up there.
I thought you were going to say they see the Earth is flat.
No.
You said too far. I need Boeing to make one. And I need Boeing to do their Boeing work. No, but I need people to get on one. And I need Boeing to do it. And then I need it to be like, oh shit, how about we don't now? How about we, like, unfortunately, I think a tragedy needs to happen before people stop wasting a fuck ton of money on something that has absolutely no progress and meaning. I will say, though, I am so happy that people outside of California, and specifically people outside of Los Angeles, are joining what I would like to say is the LA-led Katy Perry hate train that we have had for years since she endorsed Rick Caruso. Mm-hmm. And I've been like lukewarm on her.
Before that, when she was trying to buy, well, she did get the nuns' land. Yeah. The hate started then.
Oh yeah. Well, I liked her. I always enjoyed her. I liked her. I really loved her first album, but like I loved her what's her EP, like way back in the day. But like this girl's
that one was lit.
That one fucking hit. And the fact that she didn't sing E.T. in space.
I feel like there was some rights thing that was happening because she wouldn't sing any of her songs.
Yeah, but that's when she has the rights to.
She didn't want to give them the rights.
Happening. That's yeah. But I love that people are finally like, people are like seeing that I'm like, oh, by the way, she does this whole thing of like, oh yeah, I used to be a Christian singer and like now I'm not anymore. And like, I'm like, you guys, she's still just, she's been bad. She's been bad this whole time. But before we didn't have interviews. She would just be on stages with, whipped cream titties spinning and dancing with a shark. And like, it felt like very campy and and like you assumed inclusive. No, she's a bad person. She's a bad person with also zero thoughts behind her eyes, which to me is like the most unsettling kind of bad person. Because it's like your autopilot is on and the autopilot is like, it's dumb. Like it's not, your autopilot is not like going through life like as a NPC. It's like as a character who's glitching. Like I'm like, hello, Katie, or to Katie. Yeah, welcome to Katy Perry hate train, everybody. And I will say, shout out to Wendy's, who tweeted saying, what if they just like left Katy Perry out there? And then Kesha posted a photo afterwards of her going to get Wendy's. And Mott sent it to me and he was like, wait, what's Wendy's beef with Katy Perry? And I was like, babe, are you new to Wendy's game? Wendy's has been on this before anybody. Wendy's is like certified hater. And I was like, I don't know, maybe it's like they really embody like the ethos of like the redhead, like of that, like, fuck this girl, like we are fighting. And I'm like, and I love it. And I hate her so much. And don't listen to her album. Don't listen to her new album because she's working with Dr. Luke. So yeah,
Never
going
stop.
to space is embarrassing.
Yeah. Also, Gail, you made me look less on you. Like, I just can't, because she also said something about this should be like, she doesn't understand why people don't see this as empowerment for women.
Can I tell you my theory? I've never seen someone who embodies more like sunk cost fallacy than her. Cause like she didn't want to go. She looked terrified. She looked miserable the whole time. She looked deeply unhappy. And now she was assured by her team that like this was going to be great. This was going to be great. And then she didn't even want to. She without a doubt had to be convinced to go. And then she went, and then she's getting all this fucking backlash, which she's like, are you fucking kidding? Like, but she's
had Oprah out there crying.
And I'm like,
I saw somebody.
Oprah, tell her to stay.
Like, Oprah,
Oprah,
tell her to stop.
Oprah,
And I also
put her in the back of your fucking car.
Somebody
Somebody
tweeted out. I don't know if you saw it, but somebody tweeted out, "This is what it looks like when you almost lose your best eater."
See, the one I read was like much sadder. It was like, Gail, you can't leave. Oprah doesn't have a lot of people. And I was like you're literally the love of her life. You can't do this. Because she didn't want to be there. And so like her response now when she's like getting like heated and angry, and I'm like, oh, you are pissed. You are pissed that it took them so long to convince you. And then you get up there and they told you it was going to be empowered. It was going to be this whole fucking thing. And then you're like, okay, fine. After all this time, they finally fucking convince you. Like, there's no way that I bet they had to knock on her door 20 times that morning. I bet they took off late because she was like, ooh, can't find me. And then like, now it's like, well, no, it had. I'm like, no, it was a mistake.
Saying it before.
No, that's what I'm saying though. That it's like she should have
no
listened
allowance
to any of that.
Yes, and I give her no allowance for that.
It's just crazy to me as someone who so clearly and visibly did not want to go, went, and then people are like, why did you go? And I'm like, girl, ask yourself the same question. Like you didn't even want to be there. Who was holding a gun to your head? Because it certainly wasn't Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
And the craziest part is like, I know they didn't even get paid to do this.
Yeah.
Like this was just like a PR thing. And that's so fucking embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just go on Hot Ones like a normal person? Space, embarrassing. Hot Wings, not embarrassing.
Even the people that are actual scientists, okay, but like,
well, I also think in general, like, it's kind of like, imagine like you'd put all of this work in and like you actually are an expert, and like the only time you get to go is with celebrities for a PR stunt. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a slap in the fucking face.
You're literally there with Jeff Bezos' fiance.
She's really hard to look at. Like,
yeah, because she's inflated.
I'm like really worried about any sharp objects near her.
Yeah.
She looks like she's having a reaction.
She could have exploded.
That's a really good point. Actually, she should not have gone.
No.
That seems like same reason why you can't bring aerosol up there. I feel like at this point she's just an aerosol can.
Why was a filmmaker up there?
Why was Katy Perry not looking at the earth and she was just staring at the camera with her like dead eyes?
She always has dead eyes. She can't help that.
No. And I will say, just for everybody, it's important to see these kinds of people and who they surround themselves with, and sometimes you should judge, and you should wonder why, and be like, okay, there's got to be something that you're aligned with here.
Yeah.
If you're a real astronaut, let us know. Write in.
Yeah. Shout out to all the AKs that made space travel possible and have been up there.
Were all of the ones that depicted in the movie of Hidden Figures AKs, or just
all of them?
All of them? Wow. Mm-hmm. Fantastic movie. Really great story. Love Hidden Figures. And shout out to Alison Schroeder, who wrote another one of everybody's favorite films. Yep, Shipping Julia. You guys, I'm not fucking kidding.
Who's your favorite astronaut?
don't know. It might be the character of Love in Interstellar. But I don't know. Space is one of those things that like, it's like a morbid curiosity of mine. Like it's like I'm very fascinated by it, but like if I get into like the actual technical stuff about it, Moz just listened to this whole podcast about like that one where they sent up they like did a whole like nationwide search for like a teacher to get nominated who was like went space and it just like exploded.
Yeah, it happened a few months before I was born.
Yeah.
And my mom was watching it. And remember I told you I have a connection with it because of that.
And so
not a few months, the month before I was born.
I met an astronaut at which reminds me a lot of this, the NFL's Women's Summit reminded me a lot of this flight. Where I was like, okay, this is not real. This is not actual women's empowerment. But I don't know that I have a favorite astronaut. Do you?
Yes, mine
Who's
is Mae Jemison. She was the first Black woman to go into space, and she is also an AKA.
I mean, I do think you could challenge a game, point to one of like a successful, prolific Black woman. She will be an AKA. It is statistically
very high likelihood.
And you look at me, and it's me and Jamie Chung, and thankfully Meghan Markle.
I was about to say, don't leave out Meghan Markle.
No, I won't. But Jamie Chung was my chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so Mary's last name is what?
May.
Oh, sorry, May. Oh, Jemison. I wrote May. I just read it wrong.
Jemison.
Oh, I've seen her picture before.
She's an icon.
Mm-hmm.
She was probably hanging up in your library.
Probably. Also, like so many fucking astronauts, specifically women, like they never, and even in like fictionalized versions of like, again, like Interstellar, all of this kind of stuff, like so many people train their whole lives to go and they don't get to do it. And so this whole thing of being like, oh, let's do this for fun.
All right. So we're going to take another break. And then we get back, we'll get into your But Are You Wrong?
Clorox Sentiva smells like lavender. Cleans like Clorox. And feels like... All right, that could go on for a while. Experience the long-lasting freshness of Clorox Sentiva. Available in Clorox Sentiva Lavender Scented Bleach. Use as directed.
What if an appliance emergency didn't have to be? If your appliances suddenly decided they were done, don't stress. Best Buy has you covered with a wide variety of major appliances from trusted brands, in stock and available now. So you don't have to worry about laundry piling up, refilling the fridge, or that big dinner party you're hosting. Because Best Buy has the knowledge and expertise to get you the right appliance for your home. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
5 immersive worlds, 1 amazing theme park. Get ready to explore the all-new Universal Epic Universe, featuring the wizarding world of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and Dark Universe. Epic Universe opens May 22nd at Universal Orlando Resort. Our universe will never be the same. Tickets and packages on sale now at universalorlando.com.
We are back, and it is time for But Are You Wrong? This is our segment where you write in with your own situation you have caught yourself in that you would like to know if you are in the wrong about. So submit that over to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. We also have a form that is listed in the show notes, as well as Melissa posted on our story, and it is also in the link in bio on our socials. But you can write in there or fill out the form. Keep it under 300 words. It is anonymous. You can do fake names if you would like. Our audience, without a doubt, loves a little like a reference in a name. Again, be careful about the references you make because people will infer things from a reference. And no pressure if you don't want to do that. It is all anonymous, but please do include your age and include pseudonyms for people so we can keep track of it. And yeah, let us know what you want to know if you are in the wrong about. Past, present, would you be wrong? Were you wrong? Will you be wrong? We know how to conjugate. So let's hop in.
All right, here's the first one. Was I, 20, they, she, wrong for telling my mother, 51, she, her, that I wouldn't stay at her house if she gets a gun? Some background. I'm a college student who splits time at my divorced parents' houses, went home because that's what it was like before I left. And I take care of the pets and clean my mom's house because she and my brother don't. Even tells her coworkers that her dog walker is coming home from school rather than her daughter. Anyway, my mother is one of those hyper woke moms constantly fighting people on Facebook. And after the last election, she had been fearing a civil war. She says that if he can make them storm the Capitol, who's to say he can't make them attack other citizens? I've tried to explain to her that it's more dangerous to live in a house with a gun than without one, but she won't back down. I told her I would move in permanently with my dad if she did get one, and she just said that she would do it in secret instead. Am I overreacting to the situation? I'm autistic and get told I do that a lot, so please tell me the truth. Well, I might have a hot take here.
I would like to know your mother's race. I think if she's a white woman with a gun, because you're saying she's gotten extremely woke. If you think there's any possibility that and I'm only speaking as a white person who's seen white people do this, specifically people who were very, very, very progressive. If she's at the age where, if you've got dementia that runs in your family, if you've got some people who've been radicalized, whatever, if you think your mom is going to shoot someone, then, I mean, not someone. If you think your mom is going to mistakenly shoot you, if we're at a level of paranoia of she's got it locked and loaded, not locked, she's got it loaded underneath her pillow, then I would be yeah, then don't go over there. If you don't trust her with weaponry. But I think if she's able to keep it a secret from you, then I'm if it's locked up, if it's safe, if other people don't know, I'm not a fan of guns. I don't want to be around guns. If I'm in a house and it has a gun and I don't know about it and it's locked up in a fucking safe down so far away and no people don't know about it, then do I think it's going to be effective? No, I don't think you're actually going to, I don't think, but at the same time, I didn't know it was there.
Yeah. I believe that there is such thing as responsible gun owners. And my grandparents on both sides had guns. There were also Black people that were in the South. And I know the horrendous things that my family members have gone through. And I saw the guns. I didn't know how to use them. I didn't know where they were. But I may see them when they're being put up before we get there. They're like, oh, the kids are here. We got to put them up. But I think that you can own guns and be responsible if you do not keep the bullets and the gun in the same place, if they're locked up, especially if there aren't children in the home and it doesn't seem like I don't know how old your brother is. If there aren't children in the home and they don't know where the gun is, they don't know how to get to the gun. But I think if she's actually goes and gets trained by a professional, obtains it legally, knows how to actually use it by going to a gun range, and she keeps it in a protected space away from anyone that can harm themselves, I see nothing wrong with having a gun. But I do understand being nervous around a gun. And if it does make you feel more safe and more comfortable to go live with your dad, then do that.
Yeah, good point. I have a question about how old your brother is, because I truthfully have more of a concern about that. And again, as a white woman, is your mom's paranoia? Is your mom a white woman? Is paranoid? Oh, and the next civil war is coming. This is going. does she view herself as like the ultimate victim, the ultimate marginalized community? Because again, like to me, gun ownership out of, I'm going to say like true, like paranoia in terms of like rankings of who is being targeted. I as a white woman, I am not the ultimate target, the ultimate minority, the ultimate person who's being discriminated against or who's being profiled, anything like that. That's not to say that like shit in America is wonderful for white women and women as a whole. No. But I understand that I deal with so much privilege. So if she is a white woman, I think that like that level of like paranoia is not safe for gun ownership, because like that's not, I don't think that the training and all of that kind of stuff, like I don't think she will be as responsible with it, because she's getting it out of a point of like fear, not a point of, hey, I want to have this thing. And like responsible gun owners like also know that like they're not the ones being like, I have to, white people, I'm saying, don't get this big, I need to have this to defend my family. Like responsible, like white gun owners will be like, yeah, I like the peace of mind of having this. I know that like, because of how safely I keep it, I'm not able to grab it so quickly. And also I don't have, the need isn't really coming up. It's there and I know how to use it, whatever. But like getting a weapon out of paranoid people should not have weapons. Mm-hmm. So I think that is a huge part. And it's also like a big misinformation that like all progressive and liberals like want to get rid of guns as a whole.
It's not true.
It's not true. It's never been true
at all. No.
And also, we should say it really depends on what she wanted to get, Mm-hmm. But without a doubt, your brother should not know where it is. Like, that's to... Mm-mm.
All right, your turn.
Hey, Eminem. I'm a 24-year-old Scorpio, she, her, in a predicament with a 24-year-old Taurus, she, her. The context is we met over a year ago at a friend's party and she asked about me after I had left. She ended up moving to the city that I used to live in before I moved 5 hours back home to take care of my now dead terminally ill mom. I did EMDR and somatic therapy to help connect with my emotions. I went to the city to see my friends and she took me to a party where I met another friend of the group who told me that she had heard all about me, especially from the Taurus with the smirk. That night, the Taurus tried to kiss me, but we were on drugs and I was yapping uncontrollably. This night, I told her she would be spending Christmas with me as we were both alone anyway. She invited me back for a show that she was in. I went, and then 2 weeks later for graduation. We finally did a cliche kissing on New Year's Eve and would sneak moments for the next couple days. The day she left sucked, but I would be back in the city in months' time. When I was next there, she told me that I was the only person she was seeing and interested in. The next day, she asked me on a date for when I'm here next, and a couple weeks later sent me a Valentine's Day message. Fast forward to a week ago on April 10th, I sent her a screenshot that alluded to our relationship, and she told me that she's been seeing a guy and things are getting serious. Am I wrong for expecting at least a heads up rather than accidentally initiating this conversation? Wait, that is like the biggest plot twist.
You encountered a fuck girl.
What happened in March?
Yeah. Were you still talking? Were you FaceTiming? Did you fall off the earth but just expected her to still be there? What happened?
Did she meet someone in March and then is like, oh, things are getting serious by the beginning of April? Or like, because yes, the timeline has been there, like the time span, but wait, 2 weeks later, you went to a show, you met at a party. So I'm going to count the times you spent time together. Met at a party. You were on drugs together, then almost kissed. Did you go to Christmas? I have that question because you brought up Christmas. And then she went to a show, and then 2 weeks later for graduation, then New Year's. Let's say like, maybe Christmas. Like you threw that in there. So that's 6. And then you were back a month after. And then the next day, Valentine's Day. Oh no, Valentine's Day was a text. So you spent time in person together, seemingly like 8 separate times. Yeah, I think this is really weird. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're wrong at all for expecting a heads up unless like something crazy happened in March that we don't know about. But like 9 times, like in person hanging out with someone, I think it's not necessarily like an assumed level of seriousness or an assumed title of your relationship, but I would assume that after 9 dates, you would tell me if you were getting serious with somebody else.
Especially if you've already said you're the only person I'm dating and interested in.
Well, maybe they meant dating as well as interested in. You're not the only person I'm dating, but I'm not interested.
Yeah, because we're supposed to sit here and decode this. Like, I feel like that I should be taking that, like, I should take your word as it is, and you should have given me a heads up.
I think this is even beyond not giving a heads up. Like, this feels like you said, like, this is like intentionally misleading.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you just didn't tell me. You like actually told me the opposite.
Man, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too. And a man, yuck. Why would a man be like that's
Yeah, you're not wrong. They're very wrong. Extremely wrong.
deeply wrong. And also quite possibly like not well. Like this is just like, this is such a unique, like you said, like this is like a fuck girl. Like this is like a fuck person. Like this is one of those things that's like feels like intentionally maliciously cruel for no reason. And also like, you know, bonding over, I don't know why they were alone for the holidays, but like, yeah.
Question. Did they say when you talked about this, did they say you're the only person I'm seeing or you're the only girl that
they're so literal?
Mm-hmm.
And what was the screenshot that you sent that alluded to your relationship? I have to say, like, what you met her through mutual friends, and like, are your mutual friends like totally blindsided too? Because like that to me is like that's a big thing. I mean, like, did you fuckers all know too, or what? I think that I'm not saying that you should like commit a crime, but I'm just saying that like, I bet people like this get their car keyed.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Me too.
I'd be hurt.
I'd be hurt. Raging out.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
This episode is brought to you by Honda. Introducing the all-new, all-terrain Honda Passport Trail Sport, the most off-road capable Honda Passport Honda has ever dreamt up. The Passport features increased ground clearance, roof rails on all trims, and available specially developed all-terrain tires. And you'll stay comfortable with tri-zone climate control and available features like heated and ventilated front seats and a panoramic moonroof. Learn more at honda.com/passport.
This Mother's Day, give mom more than a gift. Give her lasting comfort. I'm Tyler, founder at Cozy Earth. Our bamboo sheets and ultra soft pajamas are crafted with breathable, temperature-regulating fabric to keep her cozy year-round. It's comfort that feels like home, because home feels like mom. With a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty, you know she'll be in good hands.
Go to CozyEarth.com/Spotify and use code Spotify to save up to 40%. That's CozyEarth.com/Spotify.
I'm Ann Foster, host of the feminist women's history comedy podcast, Vulgar History. And every week I share the saga of a woman from history whose story you probably didn't already know and you will never forget after you hear it. Sometimes we re-examine well-known people like Cleopatra or Pocahontas, sharing the truth behind their legends. Sometimes we look at the scandalous women you'll never find in a history textbook. If you can hear my cat purring, she is often on the podcast as well. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, we're back, and it's time for But Are They Wrong? That's when we pick someone in the zeitgeist that we say, hey, bitch, you're wrong.
You are the wrong one.
And I have something to share that has nothing to do with mine, and I just saw it like right now, as we're recording. It's more of a hot take, and I just want to say it briefly, and it really has nothing to do with this episode. I just want to talk about it, and we're not going to be able to talk about it for a while.
Perfect. I love it.
So they just announced that Alicia Silverstone will be coming back for Clueless. They're going to do a series on Peacock.
Okay.
And I know that Stacey Dash is a controversial figure. But if she's not part of this show, then what is the show? And also, Alicia Silverstone endorsed RFK Jr. So I feel like they're tit for tat. You got to have both of them.
No, here's the thing. I think if you're going to separate the art from the artist, you separate all of the arts from all of the artists. In this case, like, I don't think this is a good call. I think it's going to be bad point blank.
Well, the original creator is part of it too. Like, she's going to be writing and stuff, and she's still actively writing. So I don't think it'll be bad.
It'll probably be like young. Like, do you think they'll be parents?
I don't know.
That's always what they do. Is it's like their kids doing whatever.
I don't know.
There's another stepbrother thing. Ooh. Yeah, and also, like, not to be dark, but, like, you know, there are other characters who are no longer like actors who are no longer with us in this. So otherwise, it's just gonna be the Alicia Silverstone,
right?
Like, it won't be Clueless.
Yeah. So, hot take: Stacey Dash has to be part of it too.
That's so funny.
All right, so today I want to talk about a story that's happening in New Jersey that pits a charitable, I don't know what to call it, a charitable intention against local concerns. And it includes a rock icon against a mayor. That rock icon being Millie Bobby Brown's father-in-law, Bon Jovi.
I just learned that there's Bon Jovi and then there's John Bon Jovi.
Well, that's his name is John Bon something. Like, that's his name.
Oh.
And then the band itself is called Bon Jovi. And then because he became known as Bon Jovi, even though like his last name is something with Bon Jovi in it, but it's not exactly. Hold on.
Like, okay.
John.
Oh, Bon Giovanni.
Yeah, that's what it actually is. And so he started going by John Bon Jovi, even though that's not his actual last name. But his kids have the actual last name. So, yes.
I got deeply confused because I was like, how many of them are there?
Yes. So him and his wife, Doretha, they run this kitchen called the JBG Soul Kitchen through their foundation. And this isn't like a typical restaurant. They operate in a pay it forward type model. So there's no set prices. If you can afford to pay, then you're encouraged to donate, covering the cost of those who can't pay. So you can go in, and if you can't pay, you just get some food. Or you can also volunteer, like in the kitchen or something. So I think it's a beautiful concept, and it shows, you know, like communities can come together and feed those that can't feed themselves at that moment. In February, he and his wife extended this to the Toms River with a temporary pop-up location near the Ocean County Library. And the intentions of this were clear: to provide a warm meal and a sense of dignity to anyone in need. And by all accounts, it was doing just that. So patrons have said that it was a blessing, a really nice place, and they were excited that there was some place they could go to get nourishing food. And the Bon Jovis, again, not their actual name.
That's why I got so confused.
I know. They celebrated their 200,000th meal across their various locations, and shows like the impact of their mission. However, this kind act has been met with resistance from the Toms River mayor, Dan Rodrick. His stance is very clear that he wants the pop-up gone. He claims that the Soul Kitchen is essentially a soup kitchen that is attracting a problematic number of unhoused individuals to the Toms River. And he alleges that these individuals are being bussed in from all around the state, even from other states, into the library located just a block from a school. And it's an inappropriate place to have an operation like this. And he says that the Toms River should not have to bear the brunt of homelessness for their entire county, especially which he claims since none of the patrons are from Toms River itself. He has even stated that his legal team is exploring lawsuits to potentially force the pop-up's closure, citing safety concerns and a strain on local resources. But how is this even a fair assessment? The Ocean County Commissioner, Robert Araki, I don't know, refused the mayor's claims of busing people into the Toms River and insists that data does not support an increase of incidents. He states that it's not a soup kitchen. The lease for the pop-up at the library is currently in place until just May 23rd. And so, like, if you don't know how pop-ups work, they're only there for a temporary amount of time. And also the Bon Jovis themselves have responded to the controversy, saying that they affirm that their foundation is committed to ending homelessness through real solutions, highlighting their work in building affordable and supportive housing. Their intention is not simply to displace people, but to offer a genuine pathway to stability. And so this mayor is just being a disturbance to get attention for what?
Backstage passes.
Well, then you need to be friends with him.
Mm-hmm.
You're just being a hater. And you don't want people to eat. So so what you're saying to me is that you're for people starving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, big fan of people starving and dying.
Mm-hmm. Yep, which I feel like would be more disruptive to your city.
Yeah.
So that is my wrong of the week.
I hope Bon Jovi has some intense fans that.
Oh, he does. Those people love him.
Well, I mean, in the sense that, like, that this man.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
you don't have to say.
I hope the fandoms.
Yeah.
It's quite literally just so ridiculous. Like and I know that because we live in LA and like I grew up in the Bay, so like this idea of like quote unquote solving homelessness without
providing
homes,
resources,
without food, without any of that, it's like, might I interest you in like writing a fantasy novel? Like it's just like there's like quite literally no action, like none of that. And it's like when you have like a deep disdain and disgust for like people who are experiencing homelessness, like no amount of like dignity feels earned by those people. Like it's just like it's so deeply and like truthfully so like to their core beneath them that they refuse to do anything that offers a semblance of humanity. And so therefore like the cycle keeps on fucking going. And then you want to complain about it. And it's like, you do not see them as people. So if you can't see them as people, close your eyes. Pretend you can't see them at all. Like,
right.
And you already do. You fucking ignore that. And like, it just makes me like so fucking irate. And especially people who like talk about how homelessness, like this guy, like ruining a city or whatever. Homelessness doesn't ruin cities. Like scarcity for like places to live, like a lack of job, all of those things, like things that lead people to have an uptick in experiencing homelessness, like without a doubt is like a tragedy and very difficult and things that can be tackled. But like people who are experiencing homelessness, like that does not ruin a fucking city.
And also there's no busing in of people for this. If they have the resources to bus people in, they wouldn't do it. They'd use those resources to take that food to the people instead of bringing them in. That doesn't make sense because that then disrupts whatever type of house, no matter like where they are. If they are, experiencing houses, they don't have a house, but they have all their belongings in a certain place. They wouldn't leave them from that place. That doesn't make any sense.
No, you want to talk about people experiencing homelessness in buses? Our governor knows a thing about that. And I'm telling you, they're not busing them in. Busing them out.
Yeah. All right. Well, now it's your turn, Megan.
For my nomination, this might seem out of left field, not because this person has not already even been like in a carousel post of a enemy of the show from years and years and years ago. And I've been vocally hating this man. But this is one of the things that I'm like, this is so deeply embarrassing that we have to talk about it. So it's about Elon Musk. And I love when right now what is happening and we're seeing in politics is horrible people seeing that horrible people are doing horrible things to them. And then these horrible people are like, this person is horrible. And it's like, yeah, we told you that. You're also horrible. And it has been quite entertaining to watch all of these horrible people like self-implode. And yeah, so there's a cryptocurrency reporter named Tiffany Fong, who is like big MAGA.
I'm
and
aware of her. Yep.
Yeah, he DM'd her asking her to have a baby with him. And she said no, and then said that she worried that saying no would hurt her earnings from Twitter. And she has about 335,000 at this point of this article followers on Twitter and more than 48,000 subscribers on YouTube. And she was doing like interviews with that like crypto Sam Bankman-Fried or whatever, the one who went to jail. And so she's never met Elon in person, but he did in fact DM her and ask her if she would like to have a baby with him. And he, over the summer, he was replying to her post, liking her post, and all of her stuff. It's including pro-MAGA, right-wing shit. And because of him interacting, all of her contents, the analytics, everything's like shooting up. The posts are performing so much better. And just from interacting with him, she got a fucking check from X with earnings of $21,000 in just 2 weeks after they started interacting publicly on Twitter. And then in November, he sent her a direct message asking if she would have a child with him. She said no, and then told MAGA influencer, and you might recognize this name, Ashley St. Clair, that she wanted to have a more traditional family. And she also told her that she was worried that it would, again, hurt her earnings on X. And Ashley St. Clair, 26, is the one who has just come forward and said that she just had a baby with Elon Musk. I do wonder if she was like, oh, that's an offer on the table. Let me slide into those DMs.
Do you have how much she was offered?
Yeah. So the Fong's fears did come true because her earnings dropped after he unfollowed her and reprimanded her for telling others, aka Ashley, about this request. And she said that she didn't feed the Journal, who is the publication that published this initial thing, said that she didn't feed the story at all and would rather have kept it private. But Ashley St. Clair was caught up in this. Is this the quote that she said? Harem drama? That's in quotes. What a way to self-identify if it was. And so she claims that Musk had offered her a one-time payment of $15 million plus $100,000 a month until her child turns 21 in exchange for her silence. She rejected it. She went public. Now she's calling TMZ and like getting her Tesla repoed. Now her earnings have declined and she's sad and upset about it, but also being like, I wish this had like been kept like private. And this one is not like a verified thing, but someone had posted in comments about this article being like, the funny thing is like $20,000 in revenue on Twitter is like almost impossible to get even for top creators, again, in 2 weeks. So this is implied that he sent her $20,000 through Twitter revenue to entice her.
Yep.
But yeah, this is wild. Someone else had said that he invented a new way of workplace harassment, which feels very true. And then one of my favorite things that people do is when they repost old like titles of articles and publications. A lot of them are like The Guardian, but someone posted a screenshot saying, I knew one day I'd have to watch powerful men burn the world down. I just didn't expect them to be such losers. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how it feels. And I love that article is written. And as a follow-up, someone who seemingly works for Twitter, I don't know, was responding back and forth to someone who was like asking about like, hey, this is like technical thing, like why aren't my DMs showing? And they replied and said the whole entire, like, no, not like just message requests, but like whole entire DMs will be gone soon. And so people were like, what? Elon Musk is now getting rid of DMs because of this? And then,
oh my gosh, what a loser.
So I will say, so that was like misconstrued. Someone else who worked at Twitter then said it's a rewrite. They're not getting rid of like the entire feature. But like, to me, having like additional security, additional privacy on it, like inability to screen, whatever it is, if you make messages disappear, regardless of like any sort of rewriting the code of like quite literally one of the bread and butter foundations of the fucking app, DMs haven't changed. DMs are not. So like, yeah, regardless if you're getting rid of it or changing something, we all know it is off the backs of this. But I just think it is so fucking funny to me that this man, in the words of Caleb Heron, who was born a 3, born a 2, born a 1, with aspirations of an 8, who landed at a 5, he's going to continue to do this. He's going to continue to have these things, and these alt-right women are going to continue to quote unquote take him down, which is also like the biggest cell phone ever. And I'm like, okay, let me grab my popcorn and watch you guys do this to each other. And I have to say though, I kind of think that distracting with sex scandals, might be a way to keep him out of work.
That's true.
I don't want babies though.
I feel sorry for those babies.
Me fucking too. Like, that's so tough. Yeah, don't have sex with Elon Musk.
Or accept his sperm.
But Ashley Sinclair like had sex with him.
I know, but a lot of them are just accepting sperm.
I also find it crazy because everyone assumed that Ashley Sinclair, like, there were no photos. Like, people were like, yeah, no, that was definitely, you didn't have sex. And then she was like, yeah, we had sex. And I'm like, girl, nobody thought you had sex. Nobody knew that. You just revealed. Oh. And I'm like, yeah, you still have fondness in that situation towards him for some fucking reason. Get your money. I hope Grimes gets her money too.
All right. Well, is that everything?
That is, in fact, everything. I want to do a little shout out mini wrong of the week because I think more attention on it, then maybe things can be reversed. Tate McRae has announced a collaboration with Morgan Wallen. Yep. Now, for anybody who's unfamiliar, Tate McRae is in fact from Alberta. And if that doesn't give you the, oh, this makes sense, it should. It is not a shocker in that instance at all. But her fan base is like really upset and like very angry. And they're really like hoping that the more people who talk about it and like criticize it will hopefully change it. And also because she had a song with Tyla that they scrapped from the album in favor of this instead. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And if it comes out, don't fucking listen to it.
All right. That's the end of the episode. Anything fun you want to share?
Good call.
Anything in your life?
Oh, I am addicted to a new person.
Who?
It's not just the Where's My Dad? I'm All Alone, who's now turned into young Justin Bieber. I am addicted to, let me make sure I get his name right. And I told Mott's all about him, and he was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, you don't know this? And Mott's was like, this is so deeply niche. Nick Gallo. And who is Nick Gallo? Nick Gallo is a local reporter in Oklahoma who the Oklahoma Thunder have become, they love him so much. He is half the size of them. He is a very petite, balding, middle-aged white man. Sorry. Well, middle-aged, it's up to interpretation if we ask Brie. So I don't know how old he is. It doesn't matter. And they love him so much. They got shirts made of his face. And they forego their like big ESPN Fox News interview to skip and go over to him for their local broadcast. And he is like an icon. And I love it. And Coleman Domingo is one of the covers of Vogue promoting for the Met Gala.
All of it looks so good. I'm so excited for it. Tiana Taylor with her abs. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait. I cannot wait, Megan.
Like, the theme itself, gorgeous, stunning. And the what do they call the co-chairs, the chairs of the gala. Fashion icon. Like, it's like the best pick of people ever. And like, you've got Lewis Hamilton, Sir Lewis Hamilton, who is, you have like the athletic aspect of that, but like, he's also fucking fashion. And all these guys are fashion guys, but they have different style. And sometimes I do find that they just pick like a celebrity who like doesn't have a distinct sense of like personal style. And I am just so fucking excited.
A$AP Rocky.
I really hope that they have like a lot more Black designers and specifically like stylists and all of that stuff and influencers. I mean, from Vogue's end. And like, I hope that...
I don't think that all these people would have signed on if they wouldn't.
Well, also, now that I say it out loud, it's not... I didn't mean Vogue. The Met, they outsource that for... They have like an event. You know what I mean? Like they've got people seeking after that. So I think like in general, like I think we're going to have way better like really interesting... Not like, I don't mean like the red carpet, like Kiki who's doing it or anything like that. I mean in the sense of like when you have someone from like E! News who's like shouting things or whatever. I think it's going to be really cool. And I'm excited to see all of like, the behind the scenes stuff with the designers and like telling the stories about everything. Like I'm really, really excited. And all of like the lead up to this has been so cool. And I'm like, you guys have been sitting on being able to do themes like this with co-chairs like this. And we had to deal with the robot year.
And I think that it will be beautiful to see this too at this time where this country is getting rid of things of this nature. So I cannot wait. Mm-hmm. I've never been excited for a Met Gala before. Because why? The only time I've been excited for it was in the great film Ocean's 8. Mm-hmm. And then us doing our annual reviews after.
Yeah, this is the first time that I'm like not just paying attention to be like, what the fuck are bitches gonna do for this theme? Like, this is like I'm so excited to see how people do this. Like the last theme I was excited for was like Notes on Camp, because I was like, camp, I love camp, but then no, most people didn't do it. Like they did a bad job. This I'm like, everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody knows. And like, I can't wait to see, especially because the co-chairs often will like change looks multiple times. So like, I think we're going to get such good looks, and specifically menswear. I'm so fucking excited. Mm-hmm. I can't wait.
All right. Well, on that beautiful note, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for participating. Join us tomorrow for See You Next Tuesday, where you can continue to participate. Make sure you voted. The polls will be up tomorrow for...
Get to the polls. Stay in line.
For this week's episode, join us on Thursday for Don't Blame Me, Friday for Fisting Friday, and then we'll be back here on Monday for another beautiful episode of But Am I Wrong? And we will
circle back. Took me a second.
Bye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
What's up, fellow TV watchers? It's Brian from The Core Podcast, where we cover all things Apple TV+. We are wrapping up our recaps of Emmy favorite Severance, but 2025 on Apple TV Plus is just getting started. In April and May, The Core is recapping Seth Rogen's new Hollywood satire, The Studio, and Jon Hamm's dark comedy, Your Friends and Neighbors. We'll also be recapping the first 2 seasons of Apple's sci-fi thriller, Foundation, heading into the 3rd season of that later this year. Search for The Core, all things Apple TV Plus, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We love movies, and we come at them from different perspectives.
Yeah, like Amy thinks that, Joe Pesci was miscast in Goodfellas, and I don't.
He's too old. Let's not forget that Paul thinks that Dune 2 is overrated.
It is.
Anyway, despite this, we come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
We've done deep dives on popcorn flicks. We've talked about why Independence Day deserves a second look.
And we've talked about horror movies, some that you've never even heard of, like Ganja and Hess.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
Can you actually change your personality if you want to? How does peer pressure work, and why is it so powerful? Should you ever really trust your gut when you make a big decision? These are just a few of the topics we've recently covered on my podcast, Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and each episode of Something You Should Know covers multiple topics that are likely relevant to you. You'll discover things you can use in your life today, right now, like how to have a great conversation, how to be more courageous, the anatomy of the perfect apology, and much, much more. To date, there are over 1,000 episodes of Something You Should Know, and we've gotten over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews. I invite you to check out Something You Should Know. Look for the bright yellow light bulb on the blue background. Something You Should Know, wherever you listen to podcasts.